Welcome to Tracy's Terrors. If you love horror and appreciate smart animal commentary, then you're in the right place. Today, Strigoi, VamPullet, and I will be offering a quick recommendation, not on a book, but on a video series. We're going to be talking about Children of the Stones. If you're looking for a short horror series to binge watch, you could find new or recently created content on Netflix. But we're inviting you to try something a little bit different. Come with us back to 1976, when the pants were tighter and the collars were wider, and get ready to enjoy 7 episodes of folklore excellence with Children of the Stones. The entire series is free and available to watch on YouTube. So I'm just going to jump right in with a very brief summary. Children of the Stones is about an astrophysicist named Adam and his son Matthew. When the series begins, they are arriving in the small town of Millbury, and they are there to conduct a study of the standing stones that surround the village. Once they get settled in, they notice pretty quickly that the villagers are happy, abnormally so, too happy, and there are only a handful of other people who are also new arrivals, a doctor, a farmer, a museum curator, and themselves, who seem normal, which is to say a little bit paranoid, mildly depressed, normal people. So Matthew and Adam notice that there seems to be a link between this cheerfulness, the cheerfulness of the villagers, and the standing stones, and together with the curator as well as her daughter, they begin to explore this connection. So does their investigation put them in danger, and does this town of happy people have larger plans for them? With its focus on standing stones and small town weirdness, the series has come up in lots of discussions about British folk horror. It fascinated young viewers in 1976, many of whom remember it fondly today in their podcasts and columns. And I am always open to recommendations, but despite these golden-hued endorsements of the show, I've ignored it until pretty much last week. And the reason is that in general, I don't really like children's programming. I'm glad I gave the show a chance though, because in terms of its characters, its plot, and even its music, it is anything but childish. It's certainly suitable for children and young people, but it's complex and not, or shouldn't be limited just to that audience. I also want to add that it is suitable for cats and chickens, which is how these two got to watch it. I want to start by talking a little bit about the characters. Whether young or old, the characters in the series are mature and interesting. Matthew, though a teenager, well, I guess teenagers are, he's a small adult. He is smart, skeptical, responsible, and his father treats him as a peer, an equal partner in the investigation of the standing stones. There's very little of that marked power dynamic that characterizes traditional parent-child relationships, especially the kind you see on TV. That's absent here. There's some romance between Adam and the curator of the museum, and there are plenty of other adult characters with significant storylines to keep you engaged. In addition to nuanced characters, the series also has a surprisingly complicated plot. I struggled to follow dialogue about black holes, Fourier transforms, and atomic clocks until I remembered that the jargon being tossed around is pseudoscience. It's not really supposed to make sense. At first, I tried to cobble their statements into some kind of logical argument and felt stupid when I couldn't, but I was taking the wrong approach. The way to enjoy this series is to let the language of astronomy and physics and history just wash over you, and to be content with identifying, the larger arcs of the narrative, which is all you need to know to enjoy it and make sense of it. So like lots of sci-fi, and I'm not confining the show to the category of sci-fi, but like sci-fi, the show isn't actually mind-blowingly challenging. It just seems that way. It has an aesthetic of complexity. And if you can resist over-intellectualizing it, you'll really have a lot of fun. So far, I've talked about characters and pseudoscientific themes, but what about scares? If you're a horror fan, will this show satisfy your need to be afraid? I think so. Like all good folk horror, the series plays up the creepy insularity of small towns and ancient traditions. It also exploits that perennially effective binary of us versus them, fostering a sense of paranoia, like the kind you encounter in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Who can Adam and Matthew trust? The answer is no one. While the villagers seem friendly and even for the most part normal, they're actually plotters participating in a conspiracy that threatens our protagonists and has implications that go well beyond their small town. The show juxtaposes the small and the large, the local and the cosmic, and in this way it evokes, I'm going to use it, a sense of Lovecraftian sublimity that I think horror fans will really enjoy. Lovers of the strange and macabre will know that they are in the right place when they hear the theme music of Children of the Stones. It's incredible and unlike anything that you would hear on American TV, whether intended for adults or children. The chanting and the singing is so primitive and orgiastic that it feels vaguely obscene. I blushed while feeling the hairs on the back of my neck rise. So it evokes a strange combination of emotions and impressions that are at once, rare and terrifying. If for nothing else, watch this show just for the music. I think Strigoi, VamPullet, and I agree that Children of the Stones is a complete success. It is 5 stars and definitely worth your time. As I said, all 7 episodes of the series are available for free on YouTube, so we encourage you to watch it there. And we encourage you to continue watching us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.